Good morning. My name is Trevor, and I'll be your chairperson for today's service. Are there any visitors or new students and families here this morning? If so, welcome to our temple. Could those of you sitting near them help to find the proper pages for the sutras, gathas, and readings? Thank you. First, we'll have Sambujo on page 24 in the big book, followed by sutra chanting, Juseige, on page 23 in the little book, or page 93 in the big book. The pages The page numbers for the sutra book will be displayed on the front screen and on your monitors at home, so please follow along.
생안 이심은 조노 싱안 범만족 세그 조성아 마음을 려고 초는 조의 주몽교 신금은 전업 이쇼택님십 진리기엔 나이법 버쇼무 사이도 쇼조상구묘 고사이주야구난 바이히지행엔 메시고모안 해솔쇼아구놈 서나tunden슈몬 고소조만도 이여로질법 니치나분슈저기 땡고온พึ่겐 이슈카이호소 고세군노구홈 조다이슈즘 셈보시식문 그여이사이붓 어송무슈통무혼 간내치수조만 공무인상마이옴 여부출문개침 서남미프쇼 남가프에니 고시사이쇼선 시한약복합 다이센노간노 오브쇼텐닌 오브진명에 아만나브 언니싱은 동읍 요노세사이 노헛머나이신 오조
Please rise to sing the Gatha Hotoke Sama, which is page 55 in the small Dharma school service book by the Golden Chain, which is located on page 2 in the little book or page 15 in the big book under Golden Chain 1.
논호노노사마 오토케
仏様私の好きな母様のお手手のようにやわりと抱かれてみたい仏様のんほのの様仏様私の好きな父様のお手手のようにしっかりと抱かれみたい仏様おんほのの様仏様見明かし上げて拝むときお姿見えてキラキラとおこの光る仏様
The golden chain. I am
I am a link
in
in
Amida's
Amida's
golden chain of love
that
stretches
stretches
around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong.
I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong. May we all attain perfect peace.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
Namo
Butsu.
Amida Butsu. Namanda.
Now, Rinban Sakamoto will introduce our guest speaker.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this morning's service. To those of you who are here in Hondo, and also to those who are joining us over YouTube. This morning, we're a very special speaker, Reverend Henry Adams from the San Mateo Buddhist Temple. Some of you may have met him a few weeks ago when he and his family came to kind of a meet and greet, and I hope some of you did have an opportunity to spend some time with Adam Sensei. Adam Sensei is originally from Minnesota, so in the midst of the controversies that we're facing now in our political landscape, that's the area that he came from. Minnesota, they're ice hockey, is that right? Hockey, yeah. The Canadians come down and they visit all the time, and but Sensei studied at undergraduate work at St. Olaf University, and then on to Michigan State University of Michigan, where he's both undergrad and graduate work in part included Buddhist studies. Having graduated from school, he went on to serve in shipping and in Seattle. Yeah, shipping and freighting for a year. Who knew? Stevedore, moving things. But eventually ended up in a jet program in Japan and served in the offices there, and then eventually went on to study at Chubutsu. We're very fortunate to have with us Adam Sensei to share his appreciation of the Dharma. Sensei, onegaishimasu.
Namandavutsu, 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 namandavutsu. Good morning, everyone. May the 4th be with you. I was a Star Wars kid growing up. I noticed, I think, Sensei maybe 2 in his office. There's lots of Star Wars memorabilia. The first Star Wars movie I remember going to see in the movie theaters was The Empire Strikes Back. Has anyone seen that movie? I was 3 when it came out, so I didn't go then. But The Return of the Jedi was this kind of the part 3 and the sequel. So the first one came out the year I was born, 1977, and then Return of the Jedi came out when I was 3. But then when I was 5, the movie, The New Hope, then Empire Strikes Back, then Return of the Jedi was coming out. So they re-released Empire Strikes Back, and they were showing the commercials on TV. I really, really wanted to go, and I kept saying, Dad, can we go see this movie? Dad, can we go see this movie? My dad liked the Star Wars movies, so he said, okay, we can go. Dad, when can we see that movie? Dad, when can we see that movie? It's like, okay, it's coming out. He made sure, like opening day, we got tickets, and I said, Dad, we can't be late. Dad, we can't be late. So we got there early. We got there so early that when we went in, the previous showing, this was back in the 80s where they just let you into the theater after you bought your ticket, and we walked in, and the previous showing hadn't finished yet. And so we walked in to, there's a scene at the end, towards the end, there's this really epic lightsaber battle between Luke Skywalker, who's the hero, and Darth Vader, who Sensei has a large portrait of Darth Vader hanging in his office. And so there's this really dramatic lightsaber battle, and as 5 years old, I found it absolutely terrifying. It was so scary. It was the scariest thing I had ever seen. You know, it's the sound effects. And I started bawling. I was crying so much that my dad had to take me out of the theater because I was so upset. It was so scary. And my dad said, okay, do you want to go home? And I thought about it. Thought, no, I've been waiting so long to see this movie. Like, no, I want to stay. So stay, and I finally calmed down enough to watch the movie from the very beginning and see the whole story develop and see these characters develop and see how Luke Skywalker was very brave and he worked very hard and he went through this whole journey with the goal of helping people and becoming a hero for people. And so by the time we got to that same scene that had terrified me so much the first time I saw it, I found it to be really exciting and inspiring. And I wasn't scared at all. I was brave like Luke Skywalker was brave because I knew everything that he had gone through to get to that point. So in just the space of about 2 hours, my whole way of thinking changed. And I was able to really enjoy this movie so much that I couldn't wait for a few months later when Return of the Jedi came out. And I went, and I too had my Star Wars posters. I had all the little figurines, and this was a hero. Luke Skywalker, for me, was a hero, and someone inspired me because of his courage and his bravery, right? So there are many different kinds of courage and bravery that people can have. To be brave means you're willing to do something that's not comfortable, and it's not easy, but you do it because you know it's the right thing to do, and you know it's a way to help other people. Now, this courage and bravery is a wish that we have for ourselves, but it's a wish, I think, especially that our parents and our grandparents and the people around us, they have that wish for us. Now, tomorrow, in the traditional Japanese calendar, is a very special day. Does anyone know what day tomorrow is? Boys' Day, that's right. Or these days we say Children's Day, right? Kodomo no hi, right? Tomorrow is Children's Day. And so on Children's Day, there's something that we often do at my house. My kids love origami. They love to fold paper. Have you ever seen one of these before? You know what this is? Do you know what it is? Anybody know what is this thing? It's a newspaper. It's also a helmet, right? It's a helmet, like a samurai warrior helmet. Somebody that was very brave and strong and courageous would wear a samurai helmet like this, right? Like Luke Skywalker, they would be ready to go into dangerous and scary situations in order to help other people, right? To do things that are difficult to help other people. Now, one of my favorite stories about this Children's Day is not actually about a warrior or a samurai. It's about a woman who lived on an island named Mutsure, and her name was Okaru. Now, Okaru was a very courageous person, and she got her courage from a hero she held in her heart. And it's a hero we have too, Amida Buddha. You see the Buddha statue in the middle of the shrine? That statue of the Buddha's doing this gesture with the Buddha's hands, telling us, no, it'll be okay. Be okay no matter what difficulties and challenges you have. It'll be okay, because the Buddha's compassion is there to help us and to kind of lift us up when it's difficult. So Okaru, she had this deep and strong feeling of courage because she trusted in the Buddha. She knew the story of Amida Buddha's life, Amida Buddha's compassion, and so no matter what kind of situation she was in, she always said, Namman Dabutsu, Namman Dabutsu. And some people thought she was a little strange because she didn't wear the nicest clothes and she didn't always do her hair perfectly. Sometimes it was kind of sticking out at a weird angle. But she didn't think that much about this world. She always thought about Amida Buddha's world. She always said, Namman Dabutsu, Namman Dabutsu. And people they looked down on her a little bit because she wasn't like other people. But on this May 5th, on the Children's Day Festival, there was an opportunity. It was the one time of year where people in her village were allowed to go down to the sea and to harvest shellfish. It was a big party. Everybody would go down to the sea to harvest shellfish. And everybody thought, Okaru is such a good Buddhist. I bet she won't even come because she doesn't take life. She doesn't need any animals, right? She's such a good Buddhist. Well, Okaru, not only was she there, but she brought 2 baskets. She lived all by herself, but she showed up with 2 baskets, and she was waiting right at the edge of the shore, like a sprinter. And as soon as they said, okay, everybody, you can go, and they waved a flag, she sprinted into the water and started scooping up shellfish and dumping them into her baskets. And she filled up one basket, then she ran back, she filled up another basket, and everybody thought, Okaru's supposed to be a good Buddhist? She's always Namman Dabutsu, Namman Dabutsu. Look how greedy she is. Hey, Okaru, leave some for the rest of us. Right? Everybody was laughing at her, and she's such a weirdo. Why does she need so much shellfish? And then that evening, everybody in the village had a big feast. And they, of course, were, boiling their shellfish and eating them. And outside of every house, there was a pile of shells. After people ate the fish, then they would throw out the shells. But in front of Okaru's house, there were no shells. And people thought, oh man, she's such a weirdo. I bet she just eats them. She doesn't even know how to take the shell off. She just crunches up the shells, right? Some kind of monster. She's so weird. Why doesn't she just do like the rest of us, right? Whatever. Let's enjoy our shellfish. And people had taken so many shellfish, they couldn't eat them all. So they needed to go back to the beach to get some more fresh water to keep them fresh so they could have them the next day. And so one of Okaru's neighbors went down to the beach to get some more fresh water. And as he approached the beach, he saw someone standing by the water, kind of leaned over, and they heard them kind of muttering something. He's like, what is that person? So they're doing something weird. And so he sort of slowly approached, not knowing what kind of person it was, and he heard, Namman Dabutsu, Namman Dabutsu, Namman Dabutsu, Namman Dabutsu. Oh my gosh, that's Okaru. What's she doing? So he got a little bit closer. She was saying, Namman Dabutsu, Namman Dabutsu. Sumimasen, sumimasen. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Kowakatta no. It was so scary, wasn't it? She's throwing the shellfish back into the ocean, saying, I'm so sorry, so sorry. I tried to save all of your brothers and sisters and your family members, but I could only get all of you. She just threw them back into the ocean, as many as she could. Namman Dabutsu, Namman Dabutsu. Then when she was done, she just very quietly went home. Right? She didn't make any show of being a good person. Look how good I am. Look what I'm doing. She just naturally did what she knew was kind and caring. And even if people laughed at her and thought she was strange, it didn't bother her because she had that courage. She had that courage because she knew that the Buddha was there with her in her heart, letting her know that any difficulties, any challenges, it'll be okay because you have the Buddha caring for you, you have your family, your friends, all of your Sangha friends, your Dharma school teachers here to be our guides. So tomorrow, as we celebrate Children's Day, maybe think about the courage that you receive from Amida Buddha, and you can say Namo Amida Butsu and feel at peace and happy in your heart. So I'll conclude my Dharma school talk. I want to thank you all very much for this opportunity to spend time together this morning. I'm grateful to Reverend Sakamoto for the kind invitation and to all of you for being here with us today. So we'll conclude with Kansho. Namandavats, 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 namandavats.
Thank you, Reverend Adams. Please rise to sing the Gatha Sayonara on page 103 in the Little Service Book, followed by the Promise located on page 5 in the Little Book, page 15 in the Big Book.
Tanoshinkyo mo sumimashita. Yasashi miyoya ni mamorarete. Ureshi ochi e kaerimashou. Sayonara minasan go kigenyo. Sayonara sensei hodaiji ni. Tanoshi kondo no tsudoi made.
The Promise. We thank the Buddha for showing us the way of freedom. We will endeavor to walk in his noble path every day of our lives. Namo Amida Butsu.
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 Namanda.
Thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Jones, Reverend Adams, Mr. Akizuki, Mrs. Tanabe, Organist, Mr. Yoshihara, and AV Coordinator, Mr. Kitagawa. Are there any announcements?
Hi, everyone. I'm Randy Cow, one of the Troop 611 Assistant Scoutmasters. Our Boy Scout troop is holding a Goodwill Drive on Saturday, May 31st from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's flyers in the back for the details of what's being accepted. If you have any other questions, let me know. Thanks.
Good morning, everybody, and may the 4th be with you too.
Yay.
And this May 10th is our soul line dancing class. So it's at 10 o'clock. It's on a Saturday. Come and join us. We have a lot of fun and exercise. So come and join us. And then we still have openings for our May 17th casino trip that ABBA and BWA are sponsoring. So if you're interested in going, I would suggest you come and fill out the form. There's forms in the office. It's online as well. And so join us. It should be fun. We're going to go to the Chicken Ranch Casino. The adults are, okay? And so join us. It's only $30 for members of ABBA and BWA and $40 for non-members. And I'm looking for everybody. And our deadline is tomorrow, but if you contact me, I can maybe make room for for you as well. Okay? Thank you.
Good morning. May the 4th be with you as well. The Betsuin is offering this class called Practical Shin Buddhism in Everyday Life, How Jodo Shinshu Can Help in Challenging Times. This is an introductory class to Jodo Shinshu. So if you would like to know more about Jodo Shinshu, this class is being offered by Reverend Dr. Kenji Akahoshi. It will be on Wednesdays, so May 7th, 14th, and 21 at 7 p.m. It is offered in person as well as hybrid. And this form, this flyer actually has a QR code as well as the link, Zoom link. So if you're interested at all, feel free to join in. Thank you.
Is that in the back or where?
This is in the back.
Okay, thank you. And it should be on our newsletter?
It was in my newsletter.
Okay, on the website.
It's on our website. I think it made the online version of the newsletter, but I didn't see it in the paper one.
Okay.
If you get paper one, you might go with it.
Okay, so in our online newsletter, you should have a copy of that, and the QR code is in there as well. Thank you. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good morning. As many of us know, Rinban Sakamoto is a big Star Wars fan. I didn't know Reverend Adams was. So is it a prerequisite to become a Buddhist minister that you have to be a
You must be a good Padawan first. And then,
good Padawan
Yeah,
and a
that's right.
disciple of Yoda? Is that necessary? You learn something new every day. So anyway, so next week, as you know, is Mother's Day. We still have service here, but as you also probably know, CYS has its annual pancake breakfast here. So parking will be tight unless you do what my family does. What we usually do is we get here early, so we eat the breakfast at 8 or 8:30 or something like that. So we get parking, we get breakfast, and then we come to service. So, oh, I shouldn't have told you that. Now I'm not going to get I'm not going to get parking. Forget I said that. But we still have service. And then in 2 weeks, do you want to talk about it?
Dozo, please.
Oh, thank you for translating. In case I didn't know what dozo means. Let's see. We have our Gotane service. I've been talking about this for way too long. It starts with an infant presentation ceremony. So if any of you have relatives or friends with an infant, that'll occur at 8:30 in the morning. I think it's been advertised before service. And then our Gotane service is at 10 or 9:30? 10. So Gotane service will be at 10 o'clock. Bishop Harada is our guest speaker, so don't miss that. And then following that at 11 o'clock roughly is the Kiyashiki ceremony, where you can get your Buddhist name. After a very slow start, we got a lot turned in the last week or so. So I think today might be the last day to turn it in. But we have at least 22 people signed up now. So, and then it's a busy day. We have our next Lahaina plate lunch fundraiser that day. Shoyu chicken, I believe, is it. It's all takeout only, as the others were. So please get that order in probably by today as well. Okay, thank you.
Before everyone leaves the temple, please straighten all the books for the next service. Those of you who are interested are welcome to attend the adult English service following this service. For your safety, please obey the crossing guards and look both ways before crossing the street. Thank you for attending today's service.
Thank you very much, everybody. Please come forward for Shoko.
Supervising section. That's basically all.
One of her sisters, my wife, trouble with it. When I do it,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's the place.
Yeah, yeah. Now it's all the belly's all fenced off. Although a couple years ago when there's heavy rain, they filled up only this much. Away from flooding. Now it's terrifying. Oh, I look forward to it. Thank you. Mastacano, okay. Yeah.
I'll impress you with my country.
Oh, okay.
Good morning. Happy Star Wars Day. May the Force be with you. I'm Amy Lin-Furukawa, and I will be your chairperson for today's service. Second time. Before we begin, a little housekeeping. Just a reminder that there's no food or drinks in the hondo, and also please turn off your cell phones. We appreciate that. Thank you. We will begin this morning's service with Sambujo on page 24 of the Big Book, followed by Sutra chanting Juseige on page 23 of the Small Book, and 93 in the Big Book. The page numbers for the Sutra book will be displayed on the front screen and on your monitors at home, so please follow along. Thank you.
Shima
Please rise to sing the Gatha Shinran Sama on page 86 of the small book. Please remain standing for the three treasures on page 3 of the small book after.
Soyo kaze wataru asa no mado ataraku te no hira awase tsutsu Namu Amida Butsu Nayereba Shinran Sama wa Nikoyaka ni Watashi no onari ni irasharu. Hirameku yozora oshi no kage Arashi ni kiete mo hakurete mo Abu Amida Butsu Ona Ereba Shinran Sama wa Tomo Shibi o Watashi no ryukute ni azasareru Ono yo no tabi no ake kure ni sabishi inochi wo angeku toki Namu Amida Butsu Ona Ereba Shinran Sama wa Yorisote Watashi no onata ni ayumareru. If you would please join now in the three treasures on page 3 in the Dharma School Service Book. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow and the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in hue accord, in life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear it and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Thank you. Please be seated.
And now we will have Rinban Sakamoto introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you. And before we do that, though, I want to see if we have visitors. Okay, would you like to stand and introduce yourselves? Welcome. And you're here visiting from Santa Clara? Okay. Working on your paper? Yeah. That's when we get the students coming. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming. And here, in front? Yes. Thank you for coming. Are you here also as? Okay. Okay, we have a lot of Santa Clara students. Welcome. Thank you for coming. And I'm sorry? Rhymes with, oh, okay. And are you also from Santa Clara? Welcome. Thank you for coming this morning. I think I might have stepped on Gilbert's. Were you going to introduce people, Gilbert? No? Where's Gilbert? There's Gilbert over there. Okay. Okay, well, thank you for having them, welcoming all them, Gilbert. Well, okay, so now we have a very special guest with us this morning, Reverend Henry Adams from the San Mateo Buddhist Temple. Some of you may have met him a couple of weeks ago when we had Reverend Adams come with his family and 3 children. Well, not family and 3 children, but wife and 3 children. His family come and visit as a kind of a meet and greet, an opportunity for us to kind of get to know Sensei a little better. This morning, he is our guest speaker, and he is originally from Minnesota, graduated from St. Olaf University as an undergraduate, and his graduate work at the University of Michigan, not Minnesota, University of Michigan. And then he ended up in Seattle area, working at a shipping and freight company. Yeah, and did that for about a year, and then eventually ended up in Japan on a jet program. And from there, decided to go to Chubutsu to study. So it's a kind of a long, circuitous kind of route. But his first contact with Buddhism, when we were talking about this earlier, his first contact with Buddhism in depth was as an exchange student in his senior year in high school, where he spent a year in India and talked about a lot of traditions in India with the host family. And you know, India is where, what is that area of the world where Buddhism begins and spreads from that area into many parts of the world. But it's also home to other religious traditions. The Jain tradition is there. Of course, the Hindu tradition is there. But many, it's a kind of a crossroads where many religious traditions gather and exchange. And it was a very rich experience that has now brought Adam Sensei here to us this morning. So, Sensei, onegaishimasu.
Namandavats, 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 namandavats. I'd like to begin my talk this morning with a brief quotation from the words of Shinran Shonin, the founder of our Buddhist tradition. His portrait hangs here just to the right of the Buddha image. This is one of my favorite of the passages that he's written in his letters. I feel it's very personal, but also reflects the heart of our specific Buddhist tradition. I invite you to join me in Gassho as we hear these words together. Signs of long years of saying the Nembutsu and aspiring for birth in the world of peace and bliss can be seen in the change of heart that had been bad and in deep warmth for friends and fellow practicers. Namandavats, 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 namandavats. Good morning, everyone. Ohayou gozaimasu. Honored to be here with you this morning. Very grateful to Rinban Sakamoto for his kind invitation, and to all of you for your warm welcome here at the San Jose Betsuin. Every time we have the opportunity to come here, we feel such warmth and friendship from the Sangha. Sensei mentioned my family and I had the opportunity to visit a couple weeks ago on a Sunday afternoon and spend some time with the Sangha. They had a wonderful time. My youngest in particular was so happy that he got the opportunity to mop the gym. At the end of the activity, he saw one of the other Cub Scouts was mopping, and he said, Dad, can I do that? He says, well, you have to ask if they'll let you. Kid wants to mop, and so he does the whole gym, and he was so happy because the last time he mopped at San Mateo, one of the other junior YBA students finished mopping, and he didn't get to mop the whole gym, and he cried all the way home. So he loves to mop, and just so wonderful to be welcomed here into the Sangha at this temple. As Sensei mentioned, my first encounters with Buddhism were as a high school exchange student. I spent 1 year in Chennai, India, in the south of India, and was warmly welcomed into the homes of several families who hosted me on the Rotary Youth Exchange Program. And not only did they, of course, provide shelter and nourishment for me, but they also provided me with spiritual insight, sharing their appreciation of India's rich religious tradition. And although most of my host families were Hindu, they often would speak of the Buddha. They considered him to be one of the important teachers in their tradition, and also looked to his teachings as a guide in their daily lives. So that's what really kind of set my path of curiosity about Buddhism. First, welcomed into the homes of those inspired by the Buddha's teachings, and then later returning to Minnesota, where I grew up as a college student. I continued to read and study about Buddhism, and really became very fascinated with the Japanese Buddhist traditions. I spent some time attending Zen centers, where I also received a warm welcome, although was often corrected for my poor posture and for squirming around on the meditation cushion and so forth, all as part of creating, of course, an environment in which all can concentrate and focus together. For a number of years, I did pursue my own sort of personal Buddhist journey, focused on meditation, studying, and really a kind of a personal practice, trying to do Buddhism on my own in my dorm room in college. And while I was doing this, I had the opportunity to go and visit and listen to Dharma talks, and received important Buddhist teachings. Perhaps the most essential teaching of the goal of Buddhism is to get over ourself, to get over ideas of me and mine, and how our ideas of thinking about myself, my way or the highway kind of perspective causes difficulty and suffering in our lives and the lives of people around us. And that really spoke to me, really resonated with me. And so I set out trying to find a Buddhist tradition path that was a good fit for me. As I mentioned, my first gate was through the Zen practice of doing meditation. I would get up early in my dorm room and try to meditate before class. Some days I would manage to get 30 minutes of good meditation in before I had to rush off to, my Japanese class or, physics class or something. And then other days I would be up late studying or not studying the night before, and would wake up 5 minutes before class, have to bolt out of the room, tearing away, and the whole day I would think, not a good Buddhist today. I didn't meditate, right? The days I got up, it's like, I'm doing a good job, pat myself on the back. And so I thought, well, I'm trying to get over myself. But at the same time, there's this voice in the back of my head that's telling me, you're doing a good job, you're not doing a good job. And I realized, that's my ego, right? So I felt this kind of contradiction. How am I supposed to get over my ego by using my ego? And I got so stuck kind of that I actually kind of drifted away from Buddhist practice altogether. I kind of put it down for a number of years. I went to graduate school, as Sensei mentioned. I was actually in a PhD program. That didn't work out, so they kindly gave me a master's and sent me on my way. I worked for a year as freight forwarding and introducing the Dharma school. Sensei had this image of me like actually carrying freight. I was sitting at a computer. I was on the phones. I would have probably been better at actually carrying freight, because in order to be a successful freight forwarder, you have to be really pushy. You have to be kind of aggressive because you're trying to move. We're dealing with very busy people. You've got to get your freight kind of to the front of the line. And so I remember my boss would kind of walk around the office, make sure everybody was doing what needed to be done. And he'd hear me on the phone, and I would say, hi, this is Henry. I'm calling from Airwave Express. I'm just wondering, is our freight ready to be picked up yet? So, it's not ready yet. Oh, okay. Hang up. My boss would come and say, what are you doing? It's like, you got to push these people. You got to get mad. They're going to walk all over you. And I was like, this is not my personality here. And so I was looking for a place where I felt that I kind of fit in. I had a master's degree in Buddhist studies. I could read ancient Chinese texts, but I couldn't read a newspaper in Chinese or Japanese. And so I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to go and study in Japan on the JET program. It's the Japan Exchange Teaching Program. I was working at a government office doing a lot of translation and some interpretation for the governor when special dignitaries would come and things like that. I was doing a lot of administrative support for English teachers, and still kind of felt like this isn't really for me. I was working with wonderful coworkers, many of whom were Jodo Shinshu Buddhists. They had grown up going to Buddhist temples. They weren't, ministers, or they didn't talk about Buddhism all the time, but you could really sense from their personalities and their perspectives that Buddhism was an important part of their lives. And so I started to think about, Buddhism is here. Why don't I try to find a temple where I can kind of experience Buddhism outside of this sort of narrow idea I had, but really check out some temples. And there was one temple in the city where I was living, Miyazaki, that had a large kind of 5-tier pagoda. It was right on my way to the library where I'd often go on the weekends to check out books and read. And on my way to the library one day, I saw they had a sign posted that said, Dharma Talk is going to be coming up in a couple weeks, the Ohigan Dharma Talk. It's going to be at this time. Everyone's welcome. And I thought, everyone's welcome? That's interesting. I better see, maybe I can go. And so when I got to the temple, I sort of biked up there. I used to bike around, and I found a little place to kind of park my bike in the corner. And I tried to, as many people, when they come to a temple for the first time, they want to kind of sit in the back and, not be noticed and just kind of observe and see what's this all about. So that was my goal. And I walked up, but even walking up, it was like this crunchy gravel, in the courtyard of the temple, and then going up these creaky stairs. It's all the creak, 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 opening the door. And I stepped in, and it was in the autumn, and so it had cooled off, and so they had the hondo closed to keep the warm air inside the hondo, and they had kind of a foyer Genkan area, and I stepped in, and there was a gentleman sitting at a table, doing kind of uketsuke reception things, and he took one look at me. He got up, and he walked into the hondo, and he closed the doors behind him, and left me standing there in this foyer area, sort of wondering, okay, what's going to happen next? And then just about a minute later, he came back out, and he had a woman with him, probably in her maybe late 50s or so, very well dressed, very confident. And I thought, okay, this is the enforcer. She's the one who's going to be like, okay, thanks, but no thanks. You can go now. And she walked up to me, perfect English. Hello, my name is Goto. Please follow me. Wow, okay. She welcomed me into the hondo. She sat down with me. She handed me a service book. She opened it up, and she realized it's all in Japanese, Chinese. She said, oh, can you read this? Says, it's got hiragana, so I think I'll be okay. So, okay, good. Okay, next thing, this is important. So they're going to ring a bell, and then everybody's going to do this. It's called Gassho. And I'd been to, Zen temples, and so, okay, I know about Gassho. We're going to say, Namo Amida Butsu. It says, Namo Amida Butsu. Yeah, say it like that. That's good. Okay. And then, the bell was ringing, the Kansho bell, everyone all together, Naman Dabutsu, Naman Dabutsu, Naman Dabutsu. And I heard Naman Dabutsu. And then I said, Naman Dabutsu. And I had this sense of, okay, I'm part of this. This isn't me saying this. It's just Naman Dabutsu. And so I joined in the recitation of the Nembutsu. We all bowed. And then Mrs. Goto kind of, she says, good job. I thought, whoa, this is weird, because as I mentioned, I'd been to other Buddhist temples. It was never a good job. Sit up straight, stop squirming, don't talk, But this was good job. How could it be that for the first time I came into this temple, somehow, the way Mrs. Goto said, good job, there was a sense that my Namo Amida Butsu was just as good, just as efficacious, just as meaningful as the gentleman sitting next to me, who, by the looks of him, had probably been saying Namo Amida Butsu for about 80 years or so, right? So a lifetime of Namo Amida Butsu, and the very first Namo Amida Butsu. Somehow these were equally accomplished. And I thought, this is really strange. So I wanted to stay and hear the Dharma talk and try to understand, what is this Namo Amida Butsu about? And as the minister was speaking, he talked about how Namo Amida Butsu isn't something that I accomplish, that I do for myself, but rather it's something that is directed to me by the compassion and the wisdom of the Buddha. And hearing that message, a kind of a shift in my perspective took place, where I'd been going along thinking Buddhist practice is something that I do to accomplish my goal of enlightenment. But this Namo Amida Butsu is something that's been accomplished for me by the Buddha. And so my job is to shift my perspective and to receive Namo Amida Butsu in my heart. And I came away with a lot more questions than answers from that. But I was, that to me was this whole perspective. I got a window into this really elegant solution to this problem I'd had of like my ego and me and mine, because it's not about me. It's just let go of all that and appreciate what has been accomplished by the Buddha for my behalf. And so, it was thanks to that warm welcome from Mrs. Goto in that Shinran temple that I was able to first encounter and get a taste of what this Namo Amida Butsu is. This teaching, as I mentioned, has been passed down for us through many of those who've come before, but one of the most important teachers for us is Shinran Shonin, again, whose portrait hangs here just to the right of the Buddha, whose birthday we celebrate this month. You have your Gotani services coming up to celebrate Shinran Shonin. Shinran Shonin was a person who received tremendous kindness and support throughout his life. Some of our most clear information about Shinran Shonin's life comes from letters written by his wife, Eshini, who describes their their lives together and their journeys that they took together. And my favorite of those letters describes an occasion where they were traveling and Shinran Shonin got sick while he was traveling. I don't know if you've ever been sick when you're traveling, but it's no fun. And reading this letter, I got this sense of, oh yeah, human beings, we've developed all this technology and everything, but our lives are still very much, human life is human experience. And she talks about how Shinran Shonin had this fever. He was so hot that it was like she couldn't touch his. It was like a hot stove to touch his forehead. It was so hot. He had this high fever, and he was there lying. And she heard him kind of mumbling something, mumbling. And she got very close and said, "What is it? What is it? Are you delirious? What's wrong?" And he said, "Oh, that's how it will be." She said, "What? Well, what will be?" And then he proceeded to explain to her, when I got this fever, I recalled an occasion many years ago when I had set out to recite the 3 Pure Land Sutras 1,000 times for the benefit of all beings. And I started to do that again, trying to recite the sutras again and again, so that in my mind, whether my eyes were open or closed, I could see every single character in the sutra. And I was doing this in order to spend what remained of my life in this world, thinking I might pass on, dedicated to helping others. And the way for me to do that is to recite these sutras and generate merit for them. So it's really interesting, Shinran Shonin's perspective. For me, if I got sick on a trip, the first thing I don't think is, what can I do for the benefit of all beings? I think, okay, is there a place around here that's going to take my medical insurance? Can I go to a store and get the medicine that I like, that I think helps me feel better? But Shinran Shonin had this heart of deep care and concern for others. And so he set out to do this. And then at one point, he realized that this is foolish. This is foolish. It's not what I do for the benefit of others, but rather it's what the Buddha does for me. All that is necessary is Namo Amida Butsu. The Nembutsu is all that I need, all that any of us need to realize this deep and lasting peace of mind. So Shinran had this perspective, and he shared it with Eshini at a time when she was, must have been really worried, how am I going to take care of this family with my husband sick, and what if he passes away? And he shares this peace of mind with her. Namo Amida Butsu. It's all that we need. Now he recovers and goes on to have many more years of sharing the Dharma. And even after he departs from this world, his wife Eshini, she holds in her heart this deep appreciation for the Nembutsu teaching he shared, and she thought, this is something we need to pass on. So their youngest daughter, who had been caring for Shinran Shonin in his later years, they have this series of correspondence. And Kakushini, their daughter, so Eshini is his wife, Kakushini is their youngest daughter, she is inspired to create a place for people to gather and to hear this teaching of Namo Amida Butsu. That place is called the Otani Honbyo. It's a mausoleum for Shinran Shonin, and that's the foundation of our Honganji temple. So it's thanks to Shinran Shonin's wife and his daughter that we're able to receive this teaching, the efforts they made to create a sacred space that becomes the Honganji. Now, this temple is called a Betsuin, and a Betsuin has a special relationship with the Honganji. A Betsuin is a temple that is, in a sense, a local branch of the Honganji temple. And so this is a place where we are able to embody that spirit of welcoming others to come in and to hear this teaching. Just as you've kindly welcomed me today, this is a place where that perspective, with Amida Buddha at the center, that's the heart of our lives. And we receive that here, and then we go out into our world. This is a very important place where we live here in the Santa Clara Valley. This is a place where so much of the way that people in this world live is deeply influenced by the activities of the people who work and study in this area and in this community. To me, this temple is very special, and it's a precious place. In this area where we're gathered here today, we have a tremendous opportunity to share this peace of mind, this welcoming heart of Amida Buddha with others. So it's truly an honor for me to be able to be here with you today to share my humble appreciation and the ways in which this teaching has inspired and brought me peace of mind and guided me on my journey in life. And I hope that you too have this peace of mind and that you're able to appreciate those who have guided you. And I look forward to learning from all of you and understanding the ways in which your experience of the Nembutsu can deepen my own appreciation and guide me further along in this direction of the world of peace and bliss. So I'm truly grateful to you for welcoming me here today for your service. I'll conclude my talk once again with these words of Shinran Shonin that I feel truly capture the spirit of a gathering like the one we have today. Please join me in Gassho. Signs of long years of saying the Nembutsu and aspiring for birth can be seen in the change of heart that had been bad and the deep warmth for friends and fellow practicers. Namandabats, 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 namandabats.
Thank you for the enlightening talk, Reverend Adams. Now, please rise and sing the Gatha, Ondokusan II, on page 76 of the small book.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Now, are there any announcements? No? Okay. Well, I do. Oh, wait, you go first.
Good morning, I'm Kenji Akahoshi. I'll be doing three talks in May, May 7th, 14th, and 21st. That's a Wednesday at 7 p.m. here in the boardroom in the administration building to the left of this place. And basically, it'll be how Shin Buddhism helps us negotiate life in this current age of social and political turmoil that we're experiencing. But anyway, so these, there's a flyer here where you can get the, if you want to zoom in, there's a QR code and information. And I'll have it hospitality later. Thank you.
Hi, this is Gilbert Greta again. I'd like to thank Rinban Sakamoto for interfacing with all newcomers. We have many new students here today. And I'd like to let our newcomer know that we have after service reception in the big building next door, so you can interface with our members. And also I ask our members, try to do your best to welcome our newcomers. And since this your first time, probably got lost in many Buddhist terms we are using here. So if you are interested, you can come back. You can ask me to come back to Hondo. I'll try to give you a short introduction to our temple and all those Buddhist lingos we are using here. What the Kansho, what's Sangha, probably don't understand what's Honganji. I can do my best to explain to you. Or if you're lucky, maybe some of our ministers will be here to explain to you. Also, our welcome committee tried to implement a new procedure of having a reserved parking for our newcomers. So we try to use the first two spots when you enter our driveway, first two spots to your left, to your left. So if you come early, try to avoid using those two spots. Usually you are ahead of our capable Joyce Iwasaki, and her team usually will put signs at those two spots and by the driveway to indicate those are reserved spots for our newcomers. So that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Good morning. On behalf of the Betsuin, I'd like to thank our guest speaker, Adam Sensei, for a wonderful Dharma talk, not only for the one you just heard, but the 9:30 talk where he indicated he was a big Star Wars fan. So talked about how he saw, actually his first Star Wars movie wasn't Star Wars. He wasn't old enough, like some of us. So that the first Star Wars movie he saw was Empire Strikes Back, which I still think is the best Star Wars movie of them all. So anyway, so thank you very much. Next week, as you know, is Mother's Day, but we have regular service here still. Parking will be difficult, though, as you know, because CYS has their annual pancake breakfast. So please be aware of that. As I mentioned at the 9:30 service, my wife and I get here early and have breakfast before the 9:30 service so we can get parking more than anything else, as well as a really good breakfast. And then the following week, so 2 weeks from today, as was previously mentioned, is our Gotane service, celebrating the birthday of Shinran Shonin. And it's going to be a long, big day. Infant presentation at 8:30 in the morning. So if you have relatives or friends with an infant, they need to get the paperwork into the office and let them know that they would like to participate in that. Then our Gotane service, it doesn't start at 10, Sensei?
Yes.
So there's no Dharma school that day?
No.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Because I usually screw up a lot up here, so.
Well,
Yeah, I know, it's just me, so. So anyway, so we have our Gotane service that day, and as I've mentioned many weeks now, Reverend Bishop Harada will be the guest speaker. So if you've never heard the bishop speak, he's wonderful. So please try to be here for that. And then we have the bishop's going to conduct a Kiyashiki ceremony, so to get your Buddhist name. So I believe today's the deadline to turn in the paperwork for that. Deborah was in the office actually earlier today doing some of that processing. So that's taking place. And then following that, I think it's at 11:30 or noon, you can start picking up for the latest version of our Lahaina plate lunch fundraisers to raise money for the Lahaina Honganji. So that's probably due, if not today, within a couple days. So please get those turned in. It's a shoyu chicken lunch And I forget all the other items that are in there. There's a spam cabbage thing and whatever else. But anyway, it's going to be good. Gwen Osso and her crew, who have been responsible for the prior versions of this, are cooking up a great meal for that. All right, thank you.
Well, so today's May 4th, Star Wars Day, and happens to be my husband's birthday too.
Whoa.
So if you know June, please, wish him a happy birthday when we leave the home. Thank you. He turned red. I did my job. Okay. So thank you, Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Jones, Reverend Adams, Dennis Akizuki, Sumi Tanabe, Organist Michael Yoshihara, and AV Coordinator Kevin Kitagawa for your service today. And
That's it.
that's it. Thank you, everybody, for joining today's morning service.
Thank you very much. As we conclude, will you please come forward for Oshoko? Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, which I just read in mine and Peter.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much.
Okay, long time member.